Welcome to QuickHIITFitness, and my first video is spotlighting RelentlessFIT365 Elite Program, and with me today is nonetheless Relentless Jake himself. Thanks, Jake.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
So we're gonna go over your Elite Program, and I just finished that, so that this video is gonna concentrate on the first 5 days just to give people a taste and a flavor of what to expect. In the 4-week program, there's 7 days a week you do workout, so don't think that you're off to just 5 days a week. It is 7 days, it is elite, it is difficult and challenging, but we'll get into that. So Jake, we started off day 1 with 1,000 reps.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
What made you do that? That was crazy.
So that was kind of the introduction to what to expect for a layout like that. If I'm going to call something elite, I want people to know that this is what it's about. I mean, usually people who are going to go through a program like this have been through the other workouts, so they pretty much know what to expect. So it's like, let's hit the gauntlet right away.
Yeah, and you did. When I saw this, I'm like 1,000 reps. That's just insane. So, you know, what I liked about this is it doesn't just concentrate on strength. I mean, you threw in balance, agility.
Yeah, that's what you're doing now.
Yeah. You know, these good mornings with weights and pressing up was very challenging for sure. I mean, you know, if people lose their balance, don't worry, just pick up where you left off like I did.
Right.
So how do you come up with these crazy concoctions?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's based on things I've learned through the years of fitness. Other things, it's just as you go through other moves, ideas pop.
Yeah.
And you know this too. Like when you go into fitness, you're like, I wonder if you try it this way. So you end up developing what works better for your body.
Yeah.
And I always try to keep that open too. You know, to adjust. It's not always a modifier. I know a lot of people watching my stuff decide to make it a little harder because it starts holding the back. You start getting into better shape. You want to raise the bar. So it's that coupled with just not having a life. Fitness is kind of life. So
well, that is life. I would say your life is very full.
Yeah.
So this right there, the sumo squat press, were absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted to die and cry at the same time.
I'm pretty sure I complained a lot in that video.
You did.
That was real.
You seem to enjoy it. So, and then you got the scissor press here, which is very unique, and I love these.
Yeah, really good form on that.
I found myself waiting to get to the ones I liked, and just knuckling through the ones that were difficult.
Yeah, that's usually.
So at the end, I'm pretty dead.
Hey, look at this. That was nice. Same move.
And that was actually accidental. So I was pleased when I found him on the ground too. When I later went to do editing.
You're ready to hit the showers.
I was. It was 4:30 in the morning. So.
I actually think I counted wrong on this video.
You did. It was actually 980 reps. As you skipped that, you only did 9 exercises in round 2.
I owe 20 reps.
You do. You should actually get a penalty for you do another 100.
So, how did you like the first startup like that? Like within the first week, I know we're getting through it, but
yeah. Well, I thought how much worse can it get? Because sometimes when you first start a program, you're like, can I get through it? And and people can get frustrated and give up. Well, if you don't get through it all, that's all right. That's your measuring stick.
Yeah.
You go on to day 2 and you do the best you can. And day 2 was a lot of body weight work, and which was a nice change.
Yeah. I was hoping that the mix would be enough to keep people excited about it.
Well, I would say that I've seen a lot of programs, done a lot of programs, watched a lot of YouTube workout. One of the things that make you very unique, you're not repetitive. It changes every workout. I mean, you might see the same exercise here and there, but you're not going to just be doing like today's bicep curl day. It's.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think that's the nature of me getting bored easily myself.
I mean, you came up with Pogo Pirates. How did you come up with Pogo Pirates? It was a devious exercise you came up with. Took me like a year
fun though, right?
Learn to like.
You like it now?
I kind of do.
I got on camera admitting that. Pendulum hops.
The 180 hops too. Those were, I
like your form on that.
Well, you can get tired and stuff. It's funny, like the spinning and the hopping actually makes it kind of fun, so you can push through the discomfort a little.
Yeah. Sometimes not everyone likes hops, but when you do it with something like that,
Well, I have a bad knee, as you know. So, and what I have found that when I do good form on hops or squats, my knee has gotten 100% better, as you know.
Yeah, I've seen you do things that like before years ago you just couldn't. I mean, it just wasn't an option.
Don't avoid difficult things just because you have some issues. Oftentimes, like my knee problem was probably related to bad form on squats and everything. When I do it right, I don't have a problem at all with my knee.
Look how fast you're going on that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Boxing's still a challenge for me, and then here, on the next exercise, you concentrate on core. And one of the things I love about you is your core routines are extremely unique. I have seen nothing like it out there.
Appreciate that, yeah.
How do you come up with this stuff? I wanted to cuss.
That's a sign of passion, I love it. Yeah, same thing, some of it I learned through sports. We did a lot of moves like this, like the one you're seeing here with the bridge reach over like that. That's actually a wrestling and jiu-jitsu move. Okay. Those are the two things that kind of comes from my background. The rocking, that's jiu-jitsu, so I kind of merged what I knew with things that I knew I could create with like some sort of core move.
Yeah.
So.
And again, when I first started doing your videos, I couldn't do half this stuff correctly. But, I kept plugging the line eventually. I'm not an expert at all. As you'll see, I left in my mistakes in these videos because, doing any program, part of being successful is learning to get beyond failures.
Agreed.
And so, it's okay if you have to stop for 10 seconds. On this one right here, I'm not actually stopping, I'm switching sides. It's an actual rest, 10-second thing. But it happens. You got to jump around after, get the blood flowing.
Yeah, that's what he taught me. The
blood flow, blood shakes.
Blood shakes. Yeah. If you notice right there, like I'm hopping around too.
Yeah.
I appreciate you putting that in there, especially on my mistakes, because you'll see if you go through enough of my workouts, you'll see I'm going through just as much pain.
Yeah. And again, make that being able to do. You don't get better doing something by avoiding it. So, 70% of these moves that we're doing here, or I'm doing here, I couldn't do when I first started. You remember.
Oh yeah. Everybody starts there. You find out where your basic starting points are, and that's where you can work from. And
absolutely.
Even with those people who've had a layoff, a lot of times it's really difficult. It's like I'm not going to be able to go back to what I left off with. But you're going to have a better baseline. Than what you were when you first started.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just killing it now. Your form is almost picture perfect in some of these moves that I consider advanced.
Yeah, and some of this, there's good days and bad days, and I think day 4, when that comes up, you'll see I was probably having not a great day. Yeah. There's an exercise called gazelle hops, and when I watch my form in it, it's terrible. It's absolutely horrendous. But I left it in there because, I just pushed through. Some days that's what you have to do, right?
Well, I agree. I totally agree. There are videos, and people who know me well, some workouts that I did, you can tell I had to push through. You caught me on one. It was it was probably a couple weeks before.
It was the evolution one.
And you're like, I could tell you were not at your strength that day. And it's true. It was a rough push. I felt good, but the workout was a grind. And you could see it. If somebody knew me, they could tell that I was struggling.
And that's good. That's what it's all about, trying to get to a new plateau. And you're gonna struggle. People think, well, I can't do this very well. Well, yeah, you're working out. It's not called fun out,
Yeah, right. That's a tough one.
Yeah, the side push-ups. And the thing is, oftentimes on your stuff, the things that look simple, I'm like, oh, that would be awesome to be able to break, are the worst exercises that you're like, oh, I want to cry.
Yeah. I can't take credit for that one.
I've seen those before.
Yeah, first time I saw that was Tony Horton, and then I've seen him all over the place since then. So yeah, it's a good move.
It's a simple short move, but it is a killer.
Triceps.
And I'm not great at the boxing moves, working at the 4-strike down punch. I easily get my feet crossed and lose count of how many punches I'm on. I'm better than I used to be, but it's not a natural skill. It doesn't matter. I'm burning calories. I'm increasing my flexibility, which I think what kickboxing does. It's flexibility and agility.
I appreciate you addressing that, because people think because they're not boxers that they can't do something like that, or they feel awkward, especially the shadow.
I felt stupid for the longest time. I just got over it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
I mean, and actually your form has gotten better. Your strikes are, I could vouch for that because I catch his punches now when he trains with me, and his striking has gotten a lot better. And, you know, if it's any consolation, those of you who aren't really comfortable with kickboxing, it's a lot of core.
Yeah.
So
it's really great for the core. Right here I wanted to spotlight the crazy body weight combinations because it's probably Jake's biggest skill is coming up with crazy body weight combinations which are just terrible.
you almost cursed again.
I don't want to do, I was gonna say freaking, which is probably a bad word.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do them, but you know, I ended up loving these. And now I think on this one I died on 3. I had to take like a 10-second break and go back and finish the last 2.
Yeah.
Because this is hard because it's really a lot of time under tension, right?
Oh,
is that how you,
big time, man.
why you do this? What's the value of time under tension with body weight?
Great question. It's not just to like put you through pain, although that's half the fun. This goes back from years ago, a question I got from another client, like, can you actually build muscle through body weight? Because he didn't have access to dumbbells. So this was, I started to come up with things that kind of replicated what a dumbbell would.
Yeah.
It is that heavy weight, time under tension. Well, you're actually taking your own body weight, you're doing the same things. So yeah, time under tension is really what's creating that breakdown of muscle. And you, to answer the question is, yeah, you actually can build muscle through body weight moves.
Yeah, and what, you know, when people come to me now, like, I'm not an expert, but a lot of my friends at work and stuff like know that I work out a lot and I work with Jake, and they're asking me, well, what should I do? I'm like, first thing I tell them is master your own body weight.
It's a great advice.
You know, I mean, if you can do that, your flexibility, agility, your strength, then move on to weights. I mean, you're gonna get in better shape doing body weight than weights anyways, I think.
Oh yeah, it's definitely hard. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I love that picture. I had to throw it in there. Because that is who he is. He is a sane, crazy guy, fun-loving. And that's what you get the live version, and you definitely get that also on the videos.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
I love that picture. What's that? What's with my little...
Well, talk about this move right here.
Okay, yeah. So I changed the name a few times. I think I call these Clydesdale hops. This is the reverse form of that, the kickback one. A lot of people get discouraged with them, but your form is really good in that. So you're actually working the front leg that's doing all the bending.
Yeah.
And what it is most people hate squats. So this is my way of, if you're doing something to distract yourself, you're still working the same muscles, you're still hitting your quads. But if you make some sort of movement away from that, misdirection is kind of like what I try to focus on that.
And on this day, this is called the brutal leg, lower body leg blaster.
Beat down.
Beat down.
Yeah, I remember
it. I looked at when I watched it, because I always watch these before I go to do them, so I know what to mentally prepare and what kind of weights and stuff I need. And I'm like, it's really 4 separate exercises because you do 2 of them twice.
Yes.
And they look simple enough.
Yeah.
And my gazelle hops, which suck right here, this is the last round, so I'm dead. Those 4 simple exercises killed me. I mean, I had trouble getting up the stairs. I was like, oh, my legs.
I tried to make them where they weren't so confusing either. The moves weren't like...
They weren't. They looked simple, so I thought it would be easy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll get through that. And I was like, the first round, yeah. And then the second round, I knew I was in trouble. And I think there was 4 rounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I need an editor like you have, because my videos like don't match up to some of this editing.
Your videos are great. What are you talking
This is
about?
awesome. I love this.
So yeah, when I put the little mobile phone on there because I want people to know, I brought my phone to the gym in the morning and I turn it on and I do the videos with Jake. I mean, he does all the workouts, which is unusual in a program video, and it's helpful. You know, his encouragement, his counting is suspect sometimes.
I was waiting for
his pauses during counting are annoying too, but usually you get through that.
The time under tension, what better way than to hear a lame joke?
Yeah, right?
Keep yourself up.
When you're ready to cry.
I'm sure a lot of people have wanted to punch me over the years.
Yeah. I had to mute myself in the videos so that you didn't hear me cussing so much. I don't want my mom to be mad. So bird dogs, again, another example of, not that my form is perfect on that, I lost my balance on that one, I couldn't do those when I started. Now I actually love them.
Yeah, they're really good at it.
Everything you do hits the core.
Right.
That's what I find.
Yeah.
You know, where often in most workout programs, you're like, today is career day, we're gonna do 5 minutes of crunches.
Yeah.
And you're bored off your rocker. So this, you know, while you do have specific core workouts that are involved in this, you hit the core through almost everything you do.
That's very true. I mean, it's definitely, it's your pivot point, right? So if you have a weak core, you're gonna, you know, that's where lower back comes into play. That's where the balance comes into play. So.
Yeah. And you do a lot of one-legged body weight moves. What's the purpose of doing one-legged body moves?
So a big problem, and this goes along with like athletes and runners, and this is kind of where my background comes in because balance was huge, whether it was jujitsu or wrestling or, you know, Muay Thai or whatever it is that somebody does. Everyone has some sort of imbalance.
Yeah.
And this helps kind of improve that. You know, you're always going to have one leg stronger than the other, and you know, you might have an imbalance at some point, but this will help to sort of like create some sort of less imbalance in the lives.
Yeah, and then here's your famous Ironmans. This is the last round. My form actually is not very good on this.
I think it looks better.
My elbow's too far back, if you look.
Yeah, you did notice that.
Yeah,
I like that.
But you know, I have to go back and look at the first couple rounds and see if it's just that I was getting fatigued at this point.
Yeah.
Because I know in the first round I started on with 30s, and that one I had 25, so I know I might have been a little fatigued at that point.
Well, you bring up a good point because it helps to video yourself. You don't really know, if you don't have a trainer, that's what I always recommend. Just it's really easy. Most people have a camera of some sort, and go back and watch your form. And Rich caught it right away that he knew he had to bring his elbows forward again. You know, when you come back.
It does help you because when the next time you go to work out and do that, you're like very mindful.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember when I first started doing push-ups, my butt was up a little too much, and I mean, I was trying to avoid using my core, which is stupid because, you know, if you get the strong core, that's the goal,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. Those are good down elbow strikes, though. Again, like somebody who was never comfortable with boxing, and I can vouch for that. He was not comfortable with boxing. Shadow boxing in a public gym like this,
It's hard to do.
He did it, so.
I mean, it's not hard to do anymore, but I was just like, you know, I thought most people would watch and probably be like, you know, jealous or be like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I mean, I think it's possible for anybody.
Seriously, I see the same people at the gym and they do the same exercises every day, and they don't really change their bodies.
Yeah.
They're definitely not getting fit. They may build some muscle, but they can't run, they can't, you know, do anything active. See, I love these. Knows I come a long way. Squat curls, you think I'd hate them, but I really love them. And then the rock punch too. I mean, and again, you know, you're working the core, you're working the shoulder. I found that more in the shoulders than anything.
Yeah.
So it's distraction. So you think you're doing one thing, and especially with like your one leg things.
Yeah.
You're doing a push-up on one leg, you think you're working your chest, but really, you want us to think that, because it's really about the quad, or
it's
the
about the
hamstring.
quads,
And when those start burning and you want to cry for mama.
It's the art of misdirection. You gotta be a good illusionist.
I love the jack push-ups, what did you call those?
Jack push-ups. Those are cross-jack push-ups. You're going under and over. Those are, again, good with hips, and you know, it makes things a little more interesting than just doing a typical push-up.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you change everything. I mean, it's not day one this week isn't the same as day one next week. Nothing. I mean, day one of week 4 won't be like day one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of variety, so you can't really get bored or burnt out on doing your stuff because it just changes so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that too. If I heard it was boring because it was the same moves, then I'd have something to.
Yeah, I've done a lot of programs, and usually it's week 1 and week 2 do not vary very much.
Yeah.
Or week 1 and week 3 and week 1 and week 4. I mean, it's very similar.
Now, on an elite program, one of the luxuries I have is that I'm assuming the person who's doing it has already reached that level where they can challenge on, like, these are much more difficult moves.
This is actually me before I met Jake.
Oh,
it's hard to tell, but there's a big belly there. I was out of shape.
I've never seen this picture.
I really got winded when I would go upstairs, and when I started working out with Jake is because I went behind my TV and I couldn't bend over without pain or discomfort or losing my breath. I was like, okay, I'm too young to do that. And I'm not that young, I'm in my mid-40s.
That's young.
So, you know, he changed my life. And not that I'm the next fitness model on Men's Health magazine or anything like that, but I can do a lot of things now that I could never have done. And I'm pretty much, I choose what I want to do.
Yeah.
My health and my body doesn't choose for me.
Well, and I want to say something about your youth is that he does, we're talking about a guy who has a lot of youth. He hikes, he runs, he swims, there's a lot of things that people in their 30s wish they could have done.
Yeah.
And you still can. I mean, there's always
Yeah, it's never too late. I didn't start till I was 44. So, I mean, if you're thinking, oh, I'm too old, I used to say that. You're not.
Yeah.
You know, and then we would kind of showing your website here where people can go. I mean, you know, on there you've got the 4 different programs, right? You got 3. You got the 9-week, the 6-week, and the 4-week.
Yeah.
And then you have the challenges, which really are workouts on their own. They're 30-day challenges, body weight, and
the other one is cardio kickboxing.
Cardio kickboxing. And you got your nutrition, which you got over 100 recipes, and each workout he suggests different recipes you can use, from paleo to vegetarian to even vegan.
Correct.
And I've often taken the vegetarian and just added meat to some of these recipes.
Yeah, that's okay. You can certainly mix and match.
Sorry, vegetarians, but but it's a great website. It's one-stop shop where you can get all your stuff. And you know, why don't you talk about the website a little bit?
Okay, so I also want to add that the beginner, there's also a beginner series that's starting. I've been working on it, but I needed more videos for that. And what I found with the beginner, it was better to use some of my clients and do more of the training aspect. But yeah, for the most part, I think anybody can just jump in and see where their starting points are at, and then figure out what program works for them.
Yeah.
The beauty of it is you don't have to pay for the workouts.
Yeah.
What you're paying, you know, what the price of the membership is basically the programs, the recipes, and we're creating some other things to go along with that. There's a new program, Evolution, that I've introduced on YouTube, where that's going to be in there. But I'm also going to offer that on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and so, you know, and here's his YouTube site, and he posts videos twice a week. There's over 300 videos out there, right?
Yeah. For as far as workout videos, there's 300, and I think I'm on 305 now.
So, I mean, it's amazing what you can go out there and find. He's got a great playlist. You know, another thing he's doing is we're going to Costa Rica on a fitness retreat.
Can't wait for that.
So he's going to be doing some of those down the road. You know, you got to go out and grab life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's intimidating to start a program or to go into a gym where you don't know anyone. I highly recommend, if you can find a small group of a personal trainer with a small group, to do that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more, but you'd be surprised. It's not much more.
No.
And you get a lot more out of it. So, Jake, what would you tell people just starting out?
So find something that works, you know, that is fun. You mentioned like where we're going to travel in Costa Rica. If you like to hike, if you like basketball or whatever sport, start with that. Make yourself active in some way. I always recommend hiking because not everybody is a runner, but you start getting into hiking, you start to realize when you go up and down the hills that, oh man, I gotta work on my cardio. And take a pack. Make sure you put a lot of food in there and extra weight, and you start to realize strength training is involved in just having fun.
Everything. I mean, and the thing I always tell people is you don't have to start off by being perfect. Often people set goals like, I'm gonna work out 7 days a week, I'm gonna change my...
Yeah.
Hey, go for 2 days a week, 20 minutes in those days. And build from that.
And you know, that's actually a great point. Like, my program is set for every day or 6 days a week, but you know, you can always adjust that. Those aren't set in stone.
I had to. I mean, I've been doing Jake stuff for 2+ years. But you know, I work out with Jake personally on Saturdays. Sundays, I kind of use as my day of rest.
Yeah.
So the 4-week program took me 5 weeks to get through. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't have to be hardcore. I mean, just get through it. You know, you don't want to stretch it over 12 weeks, but you know, if you have to go 5.5 weeks, that's fine.
Sure. I mean, if you're doing a couple days a week and you start to build and see if you could do 3 days a week, when it's 20 minutes, you'd be surprised on how many days in a row you can actually do that. We're not talking 2-hour workouts. I think that day and age is over, and unless you're like an elite athlete and you're competing for the Olympics or something extreme, 20 minutes is really all you need.
Awesome. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you joining me today.
You know, it's always fun.
You know, if anyone out there watching this, I plan to do more of these types of videos. I may do some workouts down the road or some tips on things I'm trying at the gym myself. I'm very interested in working with other YouTube trainers out there and doing individual workouts. And posting reviews of those. My reviews will be all positive. I'm only going to do workouts of trainers that I believe in and that I've tried.
Yeah.
So it's not a chance for me to sit there and rip on people. So hopefully I'll be reaching out to some of those guys and lead you guys in the right direction on what things you guys go out and try and what works out there. There's a lot of good, but there's some bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I really appreciate it. It's been great to be on your show.
Yeah, well, thank you. Next time, I'll see you next time, and we're out.
We're out! Go get her.
Dude, that was fun. Yeah, it was.
I loved it, man. You're freaking awesome behind me.